The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on January 24th, 2023.
It's time now for Business Matters, brought to you by Mokulele Airlines, with your host, Pam Tumpop. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, good morning, Gary. Thank you so much, and good morning to all our listeners. I'm Pam Tumpop, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and we're thrilled you could join us this morning for Business Matters. Today, we're going to learn about the Maui chapter of the Hawaii Angels and what they do and how it might be important and benefit you. We're going to discuss bills currently released in this year's legislative session, and we're going to learn about Chamber and Construction Industry of Maui member HPM Building Supplies. But first, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Virendra Nath. He is the president of HDEP International. It's a company that was founded 40 years ago in Hawaii, and they offer back-office services to title insurance companies nationally. He has been working on bringing a Maui chapter of the Hawaii Angels to our island. So good morning, Virendra. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Pam.
It's great to have you on the show. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about what the Maui chapter of the Hawaii Angels is for those who might not be familiar with the Hawaii Angels?
Sure. The Hawaii Angels was formed in 2002 on Oahu and has been an active seed investment group since then. The Hawaii Angels has invested something over $50 million in about 100 Hawaii-based companies. I believe most are Hawaii-based companies in the last 20 years. The Hawaii Angels meet about once a month. Occasionally, if there isn't good deal flow, they'll miss a meeting. But generally, there's meetings for about once a month. There are generally two presentations. And then after the presentations, a subset of the angels who are interested in investing in the company get together and discuss the pros and cons of the investment in greater depth. The Maui Angels will follow the same format and the same investment presentations will be made here.
And you were involved in this for how many years have you been involved in the organization? And you used to hold presentations on Maui.
Yeah, I originally joined the Hawaii Angels in 2003 when I lived on Oahu. And I moved to Maui in 2005 and started the chapter here in 2006. The chapter was active for 6 years.
Wow.
And in 2012, both the deal flow and the investment interest dried up a little bit. Because I don't know if you recall, but there was the sunsetting of the Act 221 tax credits, and a lot of money had flowed into early stage investment companies, early stage companies by the Hawaii Angels during the previous 5 or 6 years, and the deal flow wasn't there either because many companies had after the drop-off in the financial markets of 2008, 2009, many companies had also dropped out. So I felt that there was little appetite for seed investment and not a great many good companies were presenting. So it put us in hiatus.
And have you seen more Maui companies at the Oahu meetings?
I think there have been a few. Mostly the Hawaii Angels are focused on high-tech companies, though they're expanding a little bit from there now. And there's a limited number of high-tech companies here on Maui so far. I see that changing over the next few years as the Space Force becomes more committed to Hawaii and Maui, and some of the other things that seem to be happening here that you're aware of as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited because as we're working, as you know, with the annual Made in Maui County Festival, working with local manufacturers, seeing them grow and succeed, we are really excited to try and help many of them that are ready. It takes time for them to get ready, but we're starting to see some that really are ready and can use some investment to go to the next level. So it's phenomenal to know this is coming back. What kinds of organizations or groups will the Maui chapter of the Hawaii Angels work with to get business pitches and ideas?
We were originally asked, I was originally asked back in September by Chancellor Louis at Maui College to build the Angels back up. I've been working with the Maui College ABIT program and Dr. Bhattacharya there for the last 10 years. And that program has a capstone project where groups of 3 to 4 students put together an entire business with a business plan and, marketing and research and everything else over the space of about 8 months. And so I've been a part of mentoring those students for the last 10 years or so. Maui College thought that it would be a great benefit to their ABIT students to see professional presentations by companies actually pitching to investors and see the kinds of difficult questions that those companies face from the investors. The second part that Maui College was working towards is this Food Innovation Center that has just been completed, and there are cohorts that are going to be coming along with new businesses, new food businesses, and some of those are probably also going to be funded by angel investment as they develop. So that's one group that has been helpful, and for those reasons, Maui Economic Development Board is looking at. I understand there's a fairly significant investment by the Space Force in Kihei, and so there's likely to be some high-tech investments and high-tech companies coming through that. We're a little bit early in that relationship, but I expect that's going to grow also as we go along. And then the Chamber. You folks have been doing a great job over the years helping companies and connecting them with seed capital and in many other ways too.
Well, we are really excited, as always, to partner with you because it is so amazing to listen to what's happening in Hawaii and the different business plans and hear where companies are at. And to see, not everybody gets invested the first time around, or maybe the first several times around, but it's a great opportunity to learn. And I think that Chancellor Hokulano's vision of having the students go through the process is wonderful because it's going to be great for them no matter what happens. So that kind of takes me to the next question, which is, can any individual with a business plan apply, or is there certain criteria they must meet first?
Any individual with a business plan can apply. What I would normally do when a business plan is presented is take an early look at it, and if it appears that it that it might fit the needs of the angels, meaning that there's been some development already in the business and so on, and it's past the initial stages. The initial stages being drawing it up in the back of a paper napkin, and that's sort of the standing joke. And if you're past that stage and there's something somewhat tangible there, then I would forward that plan to the Hawaii Angels. At this point, we don't have the infrastructure built to fully evaluate business plans or mentor the businesses to prepare those business plans for funding. But that's one of the things I'd like to do very much here on Maui. But and over time, as the Maui chapter grows, I would like very much to have a group of people here who'd be willing to work with early stage businesses, help them refine their business models, help them build their business plans, do some of the work that's necessary to get it to the next stage before sending it off to the Hawaii Angels. And the benefit of doing that is that if accepted by the Hawaii Angels, the businesses get to present to investors throughout the state as opposed to just on Maui. So there's a broader pool of capital available to them.
That's phenomenal. Is there certain types of businesses that you feel there's a broader appetite for?
I don't have a great sense of that. I know that there has been a lot of work done on the high technology businesses, and the technology area is moving so rapidly that there's so many ideas out there. But I think that Maui, in particular, is much more of a tourist island, and so there may be ways to enhance the tourism experience here on Maui. I am fascinated by the possibility of innovation in the food area, particularly as large tracts of land on Maui have been now replanted by Mahipono. So I think there may be some form of food tourism, food innovation that could be of great help to us. But Pam, one thing I have learned is that innovation comes from everywhere.
That's right.
I've been trying to pick winners or trying to pick an area that's a winner. That's always fraught with danger, and the danger of being wrong mostly.
I hear that. But it's exciting to see. I mean, you point out we're unique. Every island in Hawaii is unique, but we've really focused on some visitor industry experience of late, especially with the new destination management plan process as we look to educate our visitors more about our culture, as we look to share unique experiences and our products with them. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing a lot of farm visitor activities coming out now, as well as, they're manufacturing products in addition to doing farm tours and sharing unique experiences. So there's a lot of things happening in those arenas that you mentioned, so that's very exciting to hear. And many of them are small companies, but the ideas are pretty interesting. And sometimes also it's a little bit of the mentoring. I find a lot of our farmers are undervaluing the experiences they deliver, and helping. I'm trying to work with helping some of them understand new ways to look at the experiences and see tremendous value in that, because they're so generous in sharing. But people would love to have these experiences and take some capital to help them deliver those experiences in a unique way. So I'm thrilled to hear about that. You've got a big announcement.
So right,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Virendra.
No, you're so right, Pam. I mean, I live in West Maui, and when the sunflower seeds, when the sunflower plants are blooming, there's cars pulled up along the side of the road, taking pictures and enjoying the view. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. This is a great island, and it's just
Yeah, well, and you've got a lot of people in Laniapoko, too, doing some amazing farming and small tours, but things that can be expanded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
So you've got great news coming up. Tell us about the restarting your meetings in February and where people can attend and what that's going to look like.
Sure. The meeting's going to be on February the 9th, and we're focusing on the second Thursday of each month. The Hawaii Angels on Oahu have their meeting on the second Friday of every month, so we're trying to keep it fairly close to that. The meeting is at the Class Act restaurant in Maui College, and there's a couple of classrooms there where the actual presentations will occur, and then after the presentations, we'll go over to the Class Act for Pauhana so people can gather and meet and get to know each other. The meetings will start at 3:30 in the afternoon, and the presentations will go on, and the questions and answers, and it's a very interactive meeting. Will go until about 5:30, and a little bit later, and a little bit earlier, depending upon, how many questions there are, and how much discussion there is, and how much interest there is in each company. And then after the presentations are done, we'll move across the hall into the Class Act and just have a regular Hawaiian Pauhana.
That is going to be so much fun. Now, for those who have a business plan and are excited to hear this great news, where can they submit the business plan?
You can start by sending it to me, and I'll take a look and then offer either suggestions or send it directly to the Hawaii Angels. The email address for the Maui Angels is hawaii.mauiangels@gmail.com.
Great. hawaii.mauiangels@gmail.com. And
that's right.
I would assume that if you had some investors listening in today who might want to be an angel, they could also email you there.
That's right.
Awesome. And are you finding that we have a good cadre of angels already in place, or do we need to find more angels? There's always new people moving in.
Right. There are still a number of angels from the previous Maui Angels meetings who are still here, who are still interested, and are looking forward to attending the meetings. So we have those. But there's lots of new people who have come to Maui and live here permanently or semi-permanently, and may be interested in looking at seed capital kind of opportunities for Hawaii.
That's right, and we encourage everybody to get involved. This is a great program if you're looking for ways to help a small startup get going, or a company who's already established but expand into new product lines or take on new activities. This is a great way to engage in the community and make a immeasurable difference. So we encourage you to reach out to Virendra and to get involved, and I'm excited. I will be there on February 9th. I can't wait. This is just thrills my soul. I used to love coming out to Kapalua for the meetings years ago, and now they'll be right in town. Everybody can come to a central place and here, just get involved. So submit your business plans. February 9th is not that far away. Virendra, thank you so much for joining us on Business Matters today. It's great to hear your voice and to reconnect with you again.
Thanks, Pam. It's good to talk to you.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
Aloha.
Aloha. All right, we'll be right back after a quick message from our sponsor, Mokulele Airlines.
Mokulele Airlines operates the largest commuter airline hub in the country, right here in Kahului. Fly Mokulele from Kahului to Molokai, Lanai, Hana, Waimea, Kona, and now Hilo. Mokulele also operates the only flights between Kapalua and Honolulu. There is never a middle seat on Mokulele, and every seat has a window and aisle. Visit mokuleleairlines.com and take your next flight from the newly renovated Mokulele Terminal.
Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Pamela Timpop, and today we're going to share a little bit about what's going on at the legislative session. The legislative session kicked off on January 18th, and every year thousands of bills come before the legislature for review. Now, it's a timing thing. The bills go through a process. So at the end, we don't have thousands of bills. They sort of whittle off along the way as priorities shift and people see which bills are more important and other bills maybe are not ready or there isn't a lot of support for the concept. But this year at the state legislature, we were there last week when it opened. And already bills are being introduced. Lawmakers are working with people to continue to introduce. Tomorrow is the last day for bills to be introduced. And, what we're going to share with you right now doesn't even scratch the surface of all the bills being introduced. So we just give you a few that are already out and published and tell you a little bit about them, because a lot of them right now are dealing with things that we are currently working on. One of those being looking at what's happening on our coast and coastal zone management. So SB stands for Senate Bill. SB 69 is on coastal zone management. It was introduced by Senator Inouye. This bill is to establish a consistent and balanced framework for developing and implementing sea level rise adaptation strategies as an objective of the Coastal Zone Management Program. It will include the promotion of research, study, and understandings of the suitability and impacts of different sea level rise adaptations as a policy. It will include the maintenance of balance between public and private interest in implementing sea level rise adaptation and consideration of all appropriate sea level rise adaptations and policies. And it seeks to look at sea level rise and manage retreat holistically across the state. So this is important as our Planning Commission is currently taking up SMA and shoreline management rules, as is every other county in the state. And in our case, we have felt like not everybody's been brought to the table. I mean, there's been a lot of work done, but over COVID and somehow a lot of people are just not familiar with the process. We were tracking it in 2019. We were sharing notifications with people, and even the chamber was not aware that things had moved forward in a way where they were proposing rules that they were trying to adopt. So we're still working on it, trying to come to continue to share our views. I'm not sure that we're going to feel that we're ready to move forward, in part because we haven't seen options presented for how to look at sea level rise. We're looking at rules, but we haven't seen options and what managed retreat would look like. So, and we're also feeling many more people need to be brought to the table. So we're excited to see that this bill is now saying we need to look at this. Yes, of course they're going to address every county, but we also have to look at this holistically in the state. And in this way, we're excited because we want to learn from other processes. There's some people who are ahead of us. There's others who are behind us. And we want to make sure that everybody is looking at great information and can be looking at models that work best for their county, as well as assessing data to identify, is the data correct? And again, we've seen of late some pretty significant disasters in California with all the rain and flooding. So, again, we want to be proactive in this. We're not trying to kick the can down the road. But this is not just a county issue, it's a statewide issue, so it's interesting to see that bill. Another Senate bill, also, she's been very prolific, by Senator Inouye, is historic preservation reviews. This allows for the transfer of authority for certain project reviews from the Department of Land and Natural Resources, the Historic Preservation Division, to the counties. We are finding there's some holdups between county and state, and according to the bill, Hawaii is the only state that requires reviews and evaluations at the state rather than at the county or municipal level. So in many housing forums, we have heard that just that review at the state level is taking a lot of time, and having it at the county level would be helpful to expedite the process. We're not taking out the review, we're just changing who does the review and having it done locally. So very excited about that. Senate Bill 78 to audit the State Historic Preservation Division, also introduced by Senator Noy. That just is simply to look at what's going on and to better understand why there are delays in the process for housing. And again, how do we mitigate it? But she's looking at multi-pronged solutions. Senate Bill 469, again by Senator Noy, also allows the county to reclassify lands between 15 and 100 acres in certain rural, urban, and agricultural districts in which at least 50% of the housing units on the land are sought to be reclassified and set aside for persons and families with incomes at or below 140% AMI. So what does this mean? I know that's a lot of jargon in one bill. But 140% AMI relates to the area median income. So we're looking at family housing, and this bill can help fast-track affordable housing developments by looking at reclassifying some of the lands and helping to expedite housing units for those who are at or below 140% AMI. So what we're trying to do here is get more houses online. The next bill, Senate Bill 140, requires the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development to identify and analyze existing and projected housing needs and identify adequate sites for housing sufficient to meet housing demands for all income levels each year. So this was introduced by Senator Chang, and you know, the good news is that we see this legislative session a tremendous recognition that we have a housing crisis. And we need not just houses, we also need apartments and rentals. But we've got to be creating solutions for our residents. And the Chamber's been working on this. We did 2 housing forums prior to COVID. And many of these ideas came up. You're seeing them actually introduced, a lot of them being introduced at the state level, so it's not unique just to us. Some of these are other senators in the state that are proposing these. But you see alignment between our governor and our mayor, our local nonprofits, all working together, and our county council, all working together to try and address housing at all levels. And so we're really excited that this year can be a great year to make movement. And each of us has a role to play in this because we can ring in through the process and support these bills. And Chamber members get notices on this to hear about the bills, understand what they are, and we frequently give updates on how you can ring in. But if you're not a Chamber member, you can track these online. You can just go to the state legislative site, and you can track these different bills. And there's various ways to see them. You can look at what's coming up each day, or you can plan them out as they're being scheduled. We have House Bill, HB, so H stands for House, because we have 2 houses at our state legislature. There's the Senate and the House. So HB 159 eliminates the notary requirement on applications, renewals, and transfer of liquor licenses. So this might sound really manini, right? You're thinking, okay, well, it's not easy these days to get into a notary, and this is very helpful to our local bars and restaurants. And this was introduced by Senator Todd. So it's a small thing, but it's one of those things that can hold up an application for our bars and restaurants. Senate Bill 241 is this was introduced by Senator Favela. They're looking at general excise tax exemptions on food, medical services, and feminine hygiene products. So, we're seeing as we've seen in a tough economy, the people who are most hit are those at the very low income levels. And general excise tax exemptions on food and medical services has been discussed for a long time, and many states have already waived their state tax on these things. So, and then our state has also included for a number of years feminine hygiene products. It hasn't often gone through, so you can see this bill is being reintroduced, but it is a way to help those who are really in need and could use some help on their general excise tax. It just gives them more money in their household incomes. Another one is Senate Bill 802. It establishes a job creation tax credit for qualified business firms that create qualified employment positions. This is by our Senator Linda Coy. This is a really important bill. Many businesses invest a great deal in training their employees. And sometimes, they train their employees and don't get to keep those employees. So, but we all have worker shortages. We all are trying to make investments to bring workers on board. And it's a critical time, and we're seeing a lot of training needed. So this is a great job creation tax credit to help our local businesses. Give them an offset for the expense that they're incurring to bring in, to create qualified employment positions and to bring new people on. House Bill 606 requires the Department of Agriculture, in collaboration with other state agencies, to develop and implement a plan to expand meat processing capacity in the state, to allow meat from axis deer and other wild game to be processed for distribution by nonprofit food distribution services. And this was by Representative Gates. I can't tell you how thrilled I am. We have been working. We have an axis deer problem here in Maui County. It is a huge problem and growing because they're prolific breeders. And there is no predator other than humans to axis deer. And you might be seeing now, we've had conversations with different representatives. We've been doing a lot of work on other bills in this realm as well. Because in Maui County, we see axis deer as a sustainable resource. And we see many ways that first of all, we must cull the number of deer. It's an invasive pest. We're seeing car accidents increase. We're seeing them down at the airport. We're seeing them down in McKenna and Kihei, in Kahului. The deer are moving down. Right now we've had some rain, and so they're staying up country a little bit more, but we know this summer that's going to change again. So this is something we have to address. If we don't address it, they're breeding faster than we've been able to control them. And so it's a huge problem, and it's also requiring a lot of our farmers to install 8-foot fencing, trying to protect crops, and the ranchers installing fencing. And imagine as more fencing gets installed, then they start moving into other areas as well. So we have to look at this holistically. We do not have enough meat processing capacity. We need more slaughterhouses, and so that's really important, and we need slaughterhouses that can also process other meat and change over and find ways to do that. And then I sit on the board for Feed My Sheep, who feeds the hungry, not a meal at a time, but they give them food for a week, and they distribute food every week so families have food security. And Feed My Sheep has been working on this for 10 years, hoping that we would get to this point. So we're also introducing other bills that help with the liability for those who want to donate meat to organizations like Feed My Sheep, but, to know that we are expanding processing capacity. And Feed My Sheep is ready now. We've had storage capacity for a lot of sheep and deer meat, sheep. A lot of deer meat. Feed My Sheep has capacity for a lot of deer meat and can expand that capacity. So we really feel that bills like this is axis deer is not yes, it's an invasive pest, but we can use that deer meat to feed those in need. We have many people in our local manufacturing group. I mentioned earlier the Maui County Festival. We have many manufacturers who can make products from deer meat. Everybody always says, "Oh, dog food." Yes, dog food and sausage and jerky. But in addition to that, the bones the antlers can be used for dog chew toys. That's another thing that people have been doing lately. The bones of the antlers can be used and carved. There's ways to use the blood for mulch. There's so many people interested in the deer skins for creating new products. There are lots of things that we can do to make this a sustainable resource and help diversify our economy and still keep the meat available for, the deer around for hunters, but in a managed way. So we're very excited about that and want to encourage those who are concerned about access deer to watch these different bills, because there are many things that are coming forward. There's some bills of concern. One bill I'll mention, and we've always said, and people are asking, well, how is it going with the minimum wage increase that the state allowed? And we've said along the way, that the market dictates the minimum wage. So the minimum wage that they proposed at the higher level is not really an issue, because businesses are paying more in many cases than that current minimum wage. But there is a bill, House Bill 111, with a companion bill, Senate Bill 230. It was part of the Maui County package to allow the counties to establish a minimum wage. That's really problematic, and it's problematic on a number of fronts, because many businesses do business across the state. We don't want to see people moving in and out of regions based on different minimum wages. Businesses who do business across the state would have huge payroll implications and be very problematic. So we're very worried about that. There are other bills that are coming forward. As we try and be more sustainable, you're going to see more sustainability coming, more sustainable bills come forward, and we're trying to look at things and say, okay, where are we ready to do things and where are we not ready to do things? So there's some bills that are saying, okay, we want to prohibit all of anything providing personal care products such as shampoo or lotion and that sort of thing in small plastic containers within accommodations that are used by guests. So it's not that it's a bad idea. We just need to work on and see, okay, what exists? What does that mean for the industry? Where would they get their amenities from? So we're looking at things like that, but we're all trying to reduce plastic in Hawaii. So some of these bills, we need to monitor them. We need to see where they're going. We need to hear both sides of the argument. But this is just a small snapshot of some of the things coming down the pike. So want to let you know the Chamber of Commerce, Maui Chamber of Commerce, we review over it depends. One year we had close to 4,000 bills. Generally, it's around 2,000 bills. But we review those bills each year. We encourage our members, if there's specific bills that are concerning to them or their industry, to please flag them for us, because sometimes the bill title doesn't give you a great understanding of what's actually included in the bill. And it's a lot of reading, and some of these are quite lengthy. So we want to encourage people to let us know what's concerning to them. We will be tracking them and following the process and continuing to encourage people to ring in. Now, I also want to let you know that the Chamber has an exciting event coming up on March 4th. It's at the Grand Wailea. It's called Biz Mix Maui, and Biz Mix Maui was meant to be an annual event, and then COVID hit. But this year's theme is black and white. It's going to be a great party, indoor, outdoor, a unique and exciting multi-course dining experience with specialty cocktails, divine desserts, and exciting and interesting entertainment in a way that you haven't seen it before. And then there's going to be an after party. So it's 6 p.m. is cocktails and an auction, 7 to 9 is dining, and 9 to 11 is going to be a great after party. So we hope you can all join us. Just visit MauiChamber.com to learn more. and we will be happy to share our different opportunities. You can buy individual tickets to the event, and sponsorships are still available as well. And with that, I wanted to introduce our regional manager for HPM Building Supply. That's Gary Danzl. He is responsible for operations on Maui Island. He has been with HPM Building Supply for almost 6 years and has been on Maui for the last 2. Prior to that, he spent 4 years managing the Kona location. Gary, do we have Gary on?
You do.
Oh, awesome. Aloha, Gary, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
We are so excited to learn more about HPM Building Supply and your Maui location. Tell us about the types of products that you offer at HPM Building Supply.
So we've got a full range of building products for just about every single need a project could require. And we've got those located throughout multiple locations throughout the island. We've got a location in Wailuku, Lahaina, Makawao, and Kihei, and we've spent a lot of time getting those stores equipped to build a robust inventory and to ensure that people that live out in those markets don't have to come into Central Maui, to pick up things, and they can stay out in those respective markets and be able to shop and take care of all their needs in one stop.
That's amazing. And also to know that you have that many stores on island, that many locations. So tell us how things have been going with materials. Everybody's been really talking about supply chain issues and, rising costs. But with you folks having that many locations to warehouse items, it would sound like there's so many more opportunities to find what you need.
Yeah, we're still seeing some supply chain issues and pricing issues out in, through our product acquisitions. But for the most part, things are stabilizing, and, our inventory levels are satisfactory, and our in-stock positions are pretty solid right now. So we're feeling really positive and encouraged heading into 2023 that, we will be able to provide a continued full range of products for, our customer bases.
And who primarily is your customer base?
So we have catered to the pro sector, builder, homeowners, and DIYers that are looking to get weekend projects done. So much like, your Home Depot or Lowe's, we cater to, the same clientele.
That's awesome. I know that, you said pretty much everything you need for that, and and I haven't been to a location for a very long time, but previously it's pretty staggering to see all of the different products that you have on hand. So what are some of the types of material and services that you do offer?
So in addition to, lumber and building materials, we have a full range of concrete accessories. And we also just recently opened up a really beautiful kitchen and bath showroom on the second floor of our Kihei location. We've been in the kitchen and bath design business and home planning business for decades, and we just felt like, this island presented an amazing opportunity to service that market. So we opened that back in November, and I would encourage everybody who might be looking at a home renovation or new construction project to visit our showroom down in Kihei, where we have an amazing display of just brand new products, cabinets, countertops, accessories, lighting, bathtubs, showers, and just, again, using the phrase full range of products to service anybody that might be looking to do a construction project. We also have provide roll form roofing out in the field for standing seam roofs and pattern roofs. We also have a gutter division where we're rolling gutters out on site or at our warehouse with installation. So, we've got a truss plant in Wailuku as well. So we've got quite a few different services that we provide. And, one of the things that we're constantly doing is investing in the development of, all of the things that we want to offer as services to the island of Maui. And in the next couple of years, we're excited on, some of the directions and things that we're undertaking right now to, really make Maui just a best-in-class island for getting building products from our company.
Yeah, I was floored. Just last week, I got to see a picture of your Kihei showroom, and I was really surprised. I think often I think of HPM as building supplies, the major stuff, but to see the design work that you folks do and help people with was really amazing, and the pictures were phenomenal and gorgeous, of course. And so that's really nice to know. Now, I did have a question, a go-back question. You mentioned that with the gutter division you do installation. Do you also do installation with the roofing, or can you refer people to roofers?
At this time, we don't actually do roofing installation. We do have a concrete registry on our website at hpmhawaii.com, but we don't actually refer contractors. But
Okay.
we do gutter installation at this time, and that's a new business for us, and we're very excited about it. And there's just tremendous opportunity out here on Maui Island for that business.
Absolutely. Do you do those gutters that have that sort of protective layer or screen that keeps a lot of the leaves and big things out?
We do have that, yes.
I'm just saying, I think that on my next gutter project, that's what I want. So that's awesome to know. Well, let's talk a little bit about where each of the locations are and how people can find you.
So again, we've got a location in Wailuku, and in Lahaina, we have one in Upcountry in Makawao, and then we've got a location in Kihei. And
Okay, now where in Wailuku?
So you're going to get me here, so...
Yeah, I want to give people
we're
a sense where to...
located at 250 North Waihu Beach Road. So I'm not great with giving directions in terms of, what it's next to. But it's one of our smaller locations, but
Okay.
it's kind of a central hub of, where we bring all of our product in and kind of disperse it to other parts of our island.
Okay. So 250 Waihu Beach Road for Wailuku. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about Makawao?
And then Makawao, we have at 1035 Makawao Avenue, so right there on the main highway in Makawao. And then our Lahaina location is located at 24 Ulupono Street.
Okay.
And then our Kihei location is at 369 Hukuli'i Place.
Okay, 369 Hukuli'i Place. Okay, awesome. And that's where you've got the showroom.
Yes, and that's on our second floor.
Now, is there, given these 4 locations, is there... I imagine you could probably go into any location and order what you need. Is there any specialty items that maybe one has that if you wanted to just go in and pick it up, you should maybe go to that one? Or how, if they need to transfer between locations, how long does that take to get something?
Well, depending on what you order, the lead times could vary, but generally speaking, you can go into any of our locations, make special orders, we'll move that product out to that location, or we'll move it straight from another location to the customer via delivery truck. So we really want to make the customer experience as convenient as possible. So it doesn't matter what it is, if you're in upcountry or you're out in Lahaina and you need something that has to be special ordered, you don't have to come into town. You don't have to go to any specific location. We can make that happen for you. We have a full range of support teams that work on island, off island, on neighboring islands, and there really isn't anything that we can't get to our customers or, whatever they might need for their construction projects.
That's fantastic. And then I want to go back because I'm interested in this as well. You mentioned, again, that you folks were doing design services for quite some period of time. And you've got kitchen and bathrooms and a great showroom. So in all of the magazines I see, there are these fancy new cabinets that just make organizing your bathroom and kitchen so efficient. What is the cost for design services? And are there certain hours that's available? Are they... can people just walk in and ask to do that, or do they schedule that? How do you go about looking at some of the design services you offer and getting some expertise?
So if somebody's interested in a kitchen or bath cabinet design, or let's say a home planning design of one of our models that we offer, we partner them up with one of the designers that does kind of a intake of what the customer's needs are. And at that point, there are no fees. We're just trying to assess, what they're looking for, what they need. And if they're ready to take the next steps, then we get into a fee structure. If they're ready to commit and move down the road in terms of pursuing, actual home planning. In our kitchen design, we'll design out the cabinets for them as long as we can do the takeoffs on the measurements, and there's no cost associated with that.
That's fantastic. Well, Gary, I am just amazed with all the things that HPM is doing. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing all of your different locations. Real quick, give us your website address.
So you can reach us. We have a Facebook page at HPM Building Supply. We're on Instagram at HPM Hawaii, and then you can find a full range of our offerings at hpmhawaii.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. And to all who are listening, thank you for joining us for Business Matters, sponsored by Mokulele Airlines. I'm Pamela Timpop, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, wishing you blessings and best wishes for a beautiful Maui day and week. Aloha.